We've got lots of different nationalities, lots of different religious beliefs. I don't think you can start to look at that and not work as hard with somebody because of that, because of their own opinion. You know, that's you have to respect that. And James is a popular member of the group. You know, so the players have got behind him. The players have worked hard. We always knew that, you know, that there's always a chance that, you know, that type of signing is going to create a little bit of a stir. But again, I'll reiterate, when I brought James to the club, it was about what I thought he can do, what I think he can do on the football pitch. I don't think we've seen the best of him due to his injury, due to a very, very fractured pre-season. You know, so what I would like to try and do is try and get the very best out of him to spur us on to where we need to be. But I appreciate that's going to be a very mixed reaction to whatever decision I make. But, you know, I stand behind him as a footballer. I stand behind him as one of our squad members, and I'll work as hard as I can to try and get him playing for Stoke City and showing the desire and the drive that, you know, you could argue has been lacking for 18 months in a team.
Players are used to getting stick from supporters, but do you think it's fair that they should have to put up and endure racist chants and things being thrown on the pitch, including bottles and flares that they've had thrown at them this season?
Let this be the last one.
Yeah. What I'd say is, as a general question, because what I obviously don't want is a big headline that Gary Rowett thinks it's unfair, but the fans should do that. You know, so as a general question, I don't think any person should be subject to racism, should be subject to abuse for their religion, should be subject to abuse for their beliefs, whether that's physical, verbal, or whatever it is, you know. But the reality is, we live in an elite sport environment where, you know, there's a lot of number of fans, and you know, what people say is not always what you want to hear, but that's as far as it goes. And that's just a general view. That's not aimed at anything in particular. It's just a generalised view, in my opinion.
Last question about the Forest game, which basically it was billed by some people as being a match between the two big spenders of the league. Do you think that's fair to call Stoke the big spenders of the division?
I think it's fair to say that both clubs have spent quite a lot of money this summer, but I think you could also argue that teams that have been in the Premier League, you know, the season before, you know, the likes of, or you know, within the last 2 or 3 years, the likes of Aston Villa, the likes of Middlesbrough, there's a lot of teams around that have spent similar levels to try and get into the Premier League, and there's a big pot of gold waiting at the end of the rainbow, isn't there? So you know, I think when a club comes down from the Premier League, I think the expectancy is that they're going to go bounce right back up easily, you know. But the reality is, it's an incredibly competitive division. You can look at a number of teams that over the past 2 or 3 seasons have strengthened massively in terms of the finances they've spent, and everyone's desperate to try and get there, which is why it's such a great league. It's so even. There's so many good teams in it. I think the standard goes up every single season. I read Peter Crouch's comments recently, but you know, he believes the Championship has moved on massively, and I would say I would agree. So yeah, it's incredibly competitive. Yes, we've spent money and we expect to be in a better position, but what it goes to show sometimes is that the money doesn't actually solve every problem, and you've still got to work around a number of issues.